Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk to you today about Idi Amin's tyrannical rule in Uganda. And Idi Amin was basically one of the worst genocidal war criminals there ever was. And he was one of the worst rulers the world ever had. Now, I'll talk about Idi Amin in Uganda. And Museveni has human rights abuses issues, but he's nowhere near what Idi Amin did. Not too many leaders are. But Idi Amin, when he came to power in Uganda, he killed as many as 300,000 people. Most of them either political dissidents or rival people from his own tribe. Rival people from his rival tribe. Tribes other than his own and tribes that his tribe was at war with. Now, go to some background information of Idi Amin. Now, the tribe that Idi Amin came from was a warrior-like tribe, and he already had good fighting and boxing skills before he enlisted in British colonial army. Now, he enlisted when Uganda was a British territory. He enlisted in the King's Africa Rifle Corps. And he was used by the British to go to Kenya and put down the Mau Mau Rebellion. Now, the Mau Mau Rebellion had its issues as well, and there were people that were oppressed by the Mau Maus themselves for refusing to join the Mau Mau Rebellion. But Idi Amin was used to torture people in the Mau Mau that participated in the Mau Mau Rebellion, or people that were suspected of participating in the Mau Mau Rebellion. Actually, former U.S. President Barack Obama's paternal grandfather, Onyango Obama, did not participate in the Mau Mau Rebellion, but he was jailed because he was suspected as a participant, and he was jailed by British colonial forces and tortured in jail. And that shouldn't have happened. I was not a fan of President Barack Obama, and I'm actually a fan of the UK, but this was a scar on the UK's foreign policy with what happened there. So, but Idi Amin participated in that, oppressing the Mau Maus. Well, when Uganda became independent in 1963, Idi Amin was a colonel, became a colonel in the Ugandan army. Now, never mind that he could barely read and write. He was highly uneducated and illiterate, never had a university education, never even had a high school education. But when the Mbote government in Uganda leaned toward the Soviet Union and leaned toward communism, Idi Amin helped overthrow Mbote, and he declared himself ruler of Uganda, and he was so mentally ill, he said he was the last king of Scotland. That's where the movie The Last King of Scotland, where famous African-American actor Forrest Whitaker stars as Idi Amin. It's a really good movie, and I highly recommend that you guys check it out. It's largely historical fiction, but it does touch on the cruelty and the barbarism of Idi Amin's rule. All right. We talked about that. Well, then when Idi Amin got to power, he ruled with an iron fist. He killed his wife, cut up his wife's body parts, and put his wife's body parts in the refrigerator. He also did that same thing to his advisors that did not agree with him and that did not always nod their head in agreement with anything that Idi Amin did or proposed. And he used that as an example. He also sent many of his soldiers and many of his Secret Service agents to go out and torture political opponents, beat them to death with clubs. And they would take pictures and send the pictures back to Idi Amin, and then Idi Amin would look at the pictures just for amusement. That is what happened as well. Now, the West in some ways did support the coup because they thought Mbote was going to be aligning with the communists. But when Amin went to the UK and tried to make amends with the UK, he wanted the UK to sell him weapons so he could put down a rebellion or any potential rebellions, which there really weren't. He was trying to put down political opponents. But the UK would not give him weapons, so he broke ties with the UK basically, and then he sided with the PLO and several Palestinian organizations over Israel, and he praised Hitler and the Holocaust. He did that as well. He also developed strong ties with North Korea, particularly after the UK refused to give him or sell him weapons. And that happened as well. And he finally was overthrown himself, and but he wasn't killed. The Saudi government allowed him to live in Saudi Arabia in exile, and he died in Saudi Arabia while he was in exile. And I support a strong U.S.-Saudi relationship, but I think this is a scar on the Saudi government for doing something like this, for harboring such a tyrannical fascist dictator. And like I said, Idi Amin killed at least 300,000 people that we know of during his rule in Uganda. And he allowed pro-Palestinian terrorists hijacked a plane full of Israeli passengers, and he allowed them to come to Entebbe airport. And that's why the Israeli military had to go in there and rescue their hostages. And that's just the cruelty of Idi Amin's regime. So, hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless, and bye-bye. Bye-bye.